Welcome to the Business of Ops podcast. We invite app industry professionals to cover various topics. We promise to do our best to keep it both insightful and brief. In this episode, we have Dieter Rappold, CEO at ContextSDK. Dieter, welcome to the Business of Ops podcast.
Hello, thanks for having me. Super excited to be here with you.
Great, thank you for coming. All right, let's set the stage first. Here's the thing. Many apps are still built on rigid, one-size-fits-all user flows. They rely heavily on historic behavior, what a user clicked on last week, or which segment they're in. But the user needs change moment to moment, and when apps fail to adapt, users just leave. The next evolution isn't about personalizing based on identity, it's about adapting based on intent. And that intent can only be accurately understood in context. In this episode, we're going to talk about Context Platform by ContextSDK that enables apps to detect real-world context in real time. Whether a user is walking, relaxing, commuting, charging their phone, or simply on the move, and then infer their intent. Using a combination of on-device machine learning and server-side intelligence, the platform helps apps deliver the right experience and message at the right moment. This isn't just a UX upgrade. It is a fundamentally better way to retain users and drive revenue while respecting privacy and improving performance. Okay, Dieter, before we dive in, tell us about your background, please.
Sure, thank you. From an education perspective, I have a background in business administration. And I was lucky enough that in 2000, I had a scholarship at the Graduate School of Management in Irvine in Southern California, where I fell in love with the idea of entrepreneurship in one of the courses that I had there. So since 2001, I've built half a dozen of companies, all in digital marketing and tech. And since August 2023, I'm the co-founder and CEO of ContextSDK, covering most things commercial in the organization and helping my amazing co-founder, Felix Krause, and all the technical great guys to kind of build a great organization around them.
Okay, now tell me about the ContextSDK, your company.
Yeah, so originally, my co-founder, Felix Krause, came up with the idea. And Felix is a well-known figure in the space, as he is the original founder of Fastlane tools that he wrote in his college years, which become wildly successful and then was acquired by Twitter. So Felix joined Twitter, and when Twitter sold that part of developer tools to Google, he joined Google. And after that, he joined as part of the high-profile innovation team, Root Insurance, a insurtech company, along their IPO process. So in his early 20s, Felix had an amazing Silicon Valley career, picking up tons of skills, know-how, and insights into mobile developer tools, and ultimately working with motion data from modern smartphones, like as from the accelerometer and the gyroscope. And this was kind of the foundation of the idea of ContextSDK. And it was in early 2023 when Felix approached me and showed me his prototype of the technology that he has built, and where he also had some, let's say, impressive waiting list of people who were curious when he would launch that, because he was regularly posting updates on his progress building that. So he asked me if I'd be interested to join him. And to be honest, that wasn't a hard decision, but was rather quickly made. And I was happy to join him in this endeavor and help him to build an organization around that amazing idea. And coming to the idea, ContextSDK is an on-device AI startup in the space of intent detection. So as you already mentioned in the intro, we are collecting more than 200 signals from the modern smartphone, mostly coming from the accelerometer and the gyroscope, but all other freely available data sources. And through cross-referencing and statistical methods and machine learning executed on device, we can assess in a split second the real world context of a user while using their smartphone and an app. Why is that relevant? We believe that humans are constantly moving in a three-dimensional space while using their smartphones and their apps. And if we collect enough data points on these patterns of movement and behavior and analyze that with the smartest machine learning models out there, we can learn an awful lot about intent that can be brought to use by making better decisions during app flows, leading to better engagement, better retention, and better monetization. And that also means we bring a lot of intelligence on device, and by that we are also closing the gap to reach a state of 360-degree contextuality, better understanding the users we work with.
All right. Now, my first question is, how does focusing on user intent rather than past behavior change the way app developers approach engagement?
Thanks. That's a great question. And let me say that first. We believe that we build something where we are standing on the shoulders of giants, so to say, because up to now, the app economy, app companies have built based on amazing tech stack, enormous intelligence and insight to better understand their users and better serve them. And we want to complement that. So it's great to know a lot about past behavior, but as it is already said, past behavior is looking into the past. Whereas intent, this is something that is happening in a moment and is looking forward. So we are connecting the past with the presence and extrapolating that into the future, leading to better results on a meta perspective. So if someone is tapping through the app while they are commuting, that indicates a different intent than when they are relaxing at home at the couch. That means it's the same behavior, but it is a different need because of a different moment. And the second point is that context very often reveals motivation. What would we give if we knew the motivation of people when doing something? But if we combine these real-time signals like motion, battery, screen state, etc., we can infer intent and then shape the experience around it because of our better understanding of the motivation.
Yeah, this is definitely great perspective on the interaction with your app users, because for so many examples, we've known that accumulating information on people's behavior is not a reliable way of knowing what exactly do they need in a specific moment. And definitely being able to understand their behavior and be more reactive to their current needs is the way to go forward. Now, many of you guys are familiar with LiveOps teams. These folks who are responsible for managing and optimizing live, ongoing experience of an app. You can think of these guys like the pit crew in the Formula One race. They make sure your app, the car, runs smoothly once it's on the track, so to speak. But live team ops often get less attention than acquisition and monetization teams. How does your context platform empower them to make real-time decisions?
And also, thank you. Good question. The point is, we believe that we have a couple of stakeholders with our technology in app organizations. And as you said, user acquisition has a very high priority, but we also have to face the fact that two things happened in the last 10 years. One is customer acquisition costs are going up, and they will go up further. So that creates tension in the business model of many apps, and also raises the bar for customer acquisition. Second, monetization. And very often, and we hear that a lot from apps, around the typical subscription monetization scenario. Let's say most of the apps tell us that they make with 7% of the users 70% of the revenue during the first onboarding. And then they struggle to get another 30% of the remaining 93% of the users after the first onboarding if they did not go for the subscription in the first place. So that clearly shows you that there is a huge potential with what is happening after the onboarding, and that we believe is not getting enough attention as of now. And given the current, macroeconomic environment, the saturated markets, the rising customer acquisition cost, we would say for 2025, it clearly is LTV rules. So one cannot understand the crucial role of LiveOps teams when it comes to increase LTV across the total user base. So therefore, we believe they are a critical success factor together with the monetization teams. And with our technology, with our products, we enable them to do a type of smarter segmentation, because you are not longer pushing to a demographic solely, but on top of that, you're adapting to the moment. So that is what makes experiences feel personal without the need for more personal data.
Totally makes sense to me. I think we can all agree that our lives are not became more simpler and easier these days. We have more unpredictability in your daily life. You have to be able to adjust better to how your plans can be changed, and that influence your behavior as an app user with your interaction with the app. So it is crucial to understand what people need at this very moment. So live ops teams are extremely important these days. Great. Now, can you share with me an example of how detecting user context in real time improves the app experience?
Sure. Let me think quickly. I would say a great example is a one that we hear often from financial services apps. Think of neobanks, think of crypto apps, all that kind of stuff. What do they have that is different than to a lot of the rest of the market? They have quite cumbersome onboarding processes. And this is due to regulatory requirements. It's not their own choice, but they have to comply with those. And now imagine you're a user, and let's say you're waiting for the bus, and you're excited and want to onboard this new crypto app because you want to take a look around. And you didn't put that much thought in it before, and enter the onboarding process. And suddenly you realize, geez, that's a process that takes quite a while. You need your passport, some paperwork, whatever, and you abandon. So that means with bad timing, these users abandon onboarding processes. And that's quite a pity, because in that space, customer acquisition costs are pretty high. And if you imagine you're one of these players and you're losing 3,000, 5,000, 10,000 new customers per month because of abandoned onboarding processes, because of bad timing, that's a lot of money. And then there's two options. With Context Decision, our product that allows for optimization of any given prompt while the app is being used, you can detect right at the beginning of the onboarding process in which real-world context a user is. And if you know this user is in transit or this user is walking, you can have a gateway in your onboarding process and say like, hey, please let us share with you that this onboarding process is about to take 10 to 12 minutes, and you need to have this and that ready to fulfill it. So maybe you want to suspend it for now and finish it or pick it up again when you're at home at the table. So this is what could happen in the app, in the onboarding process. So where you create a option that is very short, where you get just the most important data and then reactivate them when they're at home at the table. On the other hand, maybe it happens that they abandoned anyways. What you can do with Context Push, the second product that enables context-aware push notifications, you can take all those abandoned customers, put them into one bucket or cohort, and then with your push notification platform, reach out to them and re-engage them 24 hours or 48 hours after that abandoned onboarding at the right time when they are sitting at the table with the phone unlocked at a perfect timing, and have one more chance to get them onboarded, these customers that you acquired for quite some money.
This is a great example, Dieter. To me, it sounds really paradoxical that when mobile phones were introduced, immediately the major difference between your desktop and your phone was that with your phone, you're not supposed to be sitting at home on one spot and one location all the time. You're always moving, your phone is always with you. It kind of adjusts to your lifestyle. And it totally makes sense that you have to be able to take into account all those circumstances of people living their lives, spending their time whatever they want. And if you're not, just like you're saying, if you're not aware of that person is doing at this very moment, it doesn't make sense to provide the same workflow as you would expect when he's sitting at home on a couch all the time. You're not supposed to be sitting on the couch all the time.
Exactly.
Yeah, so this is great. Now, here comes a question that many in the app industry struggle to address. With increasing privacy concerns, how does the context platform achieve personalization without relying on personal data or permissions?
Yeah, I think that's a crucial one. And, we had so many discussions in the past that, for example, innovation in Europe is being slowed down because of regulation. And I think in our very specific case, I think regulation in Europe contributed to this type of innovation. Why? Because we achieve privacy by design. So Felix and our engineering team decided for a architecture that is quite disruptive to the way how things are done usually in the industry, because we are at no point collecting any PII ever. So that means we are not collecting personal identifiable information, but we are just collecting the freely available data sources to assess the context. And then we are sending the abstract of the context information back to the server to train our models and learn and make better decisions. But these are never at any point being able to be connected to a unique user ID or to a device ID. That means it is in the way that it is built, future-proofed against privacy regulations, and it works out of the box because of not collecting any PII, GDPR compliant. That means you get all the benefits of personalization while kind of being perfectly, in terms of privacy by design, working for you.
That's a great long-term approach to privacy. Now, let's cover some technical details briefly. Optimizing user interactions can be perceived as a lot of work. Can you tell me about the process of implementing context platform in an app?
Sure. And this is something that also my co-founder Felix was very particular about, since he has his rich history as an engineer in iOS development, building developer tools, and therefore his aim is always, how can I make the job of the engineer as easy as possible and his life better? So that means if you look up our documentation pages, you will see that just with a couple of lines of codes, you will be able to integrate context decision or context push, and basically can start entering in a calibration mode at around a certain flow, around a certain prompt that you're interested in optimizing. Collect data, and if you hit a certain threshold of positive outcomes, we are able to train a machine learning model and then deploy it over the air and let it do their magic. That means, compared to other approaches where you have kind of lengthy engineering projects, basically if you have a seasoned mobile developer who can squeeze in half a day, you can release it next week in your release cycle.
Great. So it feels like Felix really can feel the pain of developers and can relate to their experience, having first-hand experience of being a developer for so many years. And this is the great approach when you know exactly how to make life easier for folks who were in the same shoes as you were.
Exactly.
Perfect. Before I let you go, Dita, do you have a takeaway for our listeners and how they can get in touch with you and get more information about what you do?
Sure. The thing is, my main takeaway is we have experiences as the app economy of decades of building intelligence and building the smartest apps to make the lives of billions of people out there easier. So far, we have achieved a lot by building smartness and intelligence on the server side. That is amazing. And I think it is high time to bring more intelligence to the device side, because these devices that we are carrying with us, they are amazing wonders of technology with extremely sensitive sensor data that can be used to make app experiences better. So that's my kind of key or main takeaway, I would say. And if you are building anything around engagement, retention, or monetization in 2025, and you're kind of tired of static funnels, we'd love to talk. So reach out to us through our LinkedIn page or my personal LinkedIn profile, or just shoot me an email to Dieter at contextsdk.com. I'll spell my first name, which is Dieter at contextsdk.com. Or ideally, meet us on April 25th at the App Promotion Summit in London, where we're also hosting a roundtable discussion.
Terrific, Data. We're going to put the contact information to this episode description so people will be able to get in touch with you easily. Thank you so much for coming on our show. It was great. Thank you, Dita. Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye.
To listen to more episodes, subscribe to our podcast on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, YouTube podcasts. Just search for Business of Apps. You will find us easily. Remember, we release episodes on Mondays, so subscribe and you will be able to get new episodes on your smartphone, tablet, or computer as soon as we release them. And please don't forget to leave us a review or comment on iTunes. It is highly appreciated. And all episodes will also be available on businessofapps.com. Thank you for listening. See you next week.